Bianca, thank you so much for sitting down with us and talking to the Carousel. Can you tell me a little bit about the design aesthetic behind Bianca Spender?
For me, my clothes are all about a modern poetry, and that I bring into the collection by starting it with a story. There's always a theme that every collection comes from, and really developing its own mood and form that is reflective of that idea. So.
And you didn't start in fashion. You studied commerce, I think.
Yeah, I did a Bachelor of Commerce. I was always interested in having my own business, and I was very shy of going into my mother's industry. But eventually, after I finished that, I realised I didn't really want to just run the marketing or finance for a business unless it was my own and unless I was really attached to the product. And people said, "Oh, you love clothes, give it a go." And I did a short course and I loved it, so it just started from there.
Who are you designing for?
It's an interesting question. I'd be lying if I said I didn't influence my collection. And so obviously, I think that when I start a collection, it sounds odd, but I'm obviously, in terms of aesthetic and what feels good, I'm probably a strong gauge of that on when I put the clothes on myself. But in terms of the aesthetic that I design each season, it really is about the concept and the idea.
Yeah.
So for me, the question is, do all of these ideas sit under that? You know, does this feel like it is about this world of these deep kind of exotic but odd and unusual sculptural flower shapes and dresses? That can be a pretty dress, but if it doesn't feel like it comes from that world, I will throw it out. It's kind of like those incredible albums where you are taken on a voyage and each song is linked to the next, and there's just this, by the end you've had a complete experience of one sound, and that's what I try and create with each collection.
And the particular inspiration behind this collection, which looks so beautiful.
It was a beautiful book called Encyclopedia of Flowers by Makoto Azuma. And I have never done a floral. I've never worn a floral. I have not a flowery kind of element. I love them as objects in nature, but not wearing them, for me, maybe don't seem modern, maybe because they're so girly. And I'm sure that's not true, but for me that's how it felt. But when I saw this book, it's very, very dark and it's very moody and it's very, it's got that whole ikebana sensibility where it's very sculptural and they're very exotic, unusual, sometimes odd combinations and flowers in themselves. And I thought, oh wow, if that's how flowers can look, I can do florals. So I ended up doing about 4 floral prints, and the texture was so key that I just kept on wanting to pull textures in. So I pulled in stripes and checks and tweeds and everything to build up this whole element of these very deep, textural, rich collection.